Yeah, my name is BW179 on the Acorn Cafe and BW1979 on Chippendale Online. And I've always been a fan of the Rescue Rangers. In fact, I've been a member of the Acorn Cafe for I think about 6 years now going on. And I've seen it actually, I think I actually saw the Acorn Cafe about 9 years ago. I just never really joined. And one of the things I always liked about the Acorn Cafe is it was always a place where you could go and you could talk about things that were all related to the Rescue Rangers with others that felt the same way about you. Not about you, but about the series, just like you did. Felt the same way. And at the time I was very skeptical because I was in high school. Basically, in my final years of high school, I was still living with my father even afterwards, and I could never really see what the Ranger community had to say. I mean, I could only do it on occasions. When my dad had business to take care of in Lawrence, he would drive me to a place called Independent Sync, where they allowed you, well, they had classes, computer classes, believe it or not, but they also allowed you to, when they had free time for not just, the students, but for anybody in the community, they would allow you to go onto the internet for a couple of hours and kind of explore what was out there. And that's how I really got into the cafe, because that was at a time I was actually able to log into the cafe and join them and join up with the crew there. And it was great. It was a great moment. And I'll never forget it. And all the fans I met were great. And I also remember it was around the same time I also became a member of the Fox Club feature. And I was able to post, and I guess you could say I became the king of song parodies, if you will, or inspired, or songs that could be inspired by characters like, say, Dale and Fox Club or Chip and Gadget. Because I would start, just thinking of songs. All I had at the time was CDs, and I would listen to all the songs, and I would just keep pumping the CDs out, keep pumping the music out, keep pumping the lyrics out, on the cafe when where you were able to suggest romantic songs, and I just kept pumping them out and pumping them out. And I came up with a few parodies as well, and like I said, I must have become like the king of the song parodies at the time, or even the prince maybe, because it was like Jolie, who ran the board at the time, could not believe it. How many I was doing. It was like, oh my God, I can't believe this guy's doing it again. He's posted another one again. It's like, to him it was like a miracle that someone, not a miracle, but it was kind of a shocker to see someone actually be able to do that on as many occasions as I got to do it. I also wrote a couple of stories for the Fox Club feature. I even posted some online at fanfiction.net, and I think maybe a couple times over at the Acorn Cafe. I'm not really sure. But the first one I did was called Into the World of Music. It was sort of like it was kind of inspired by the fact that, because at the time, it was about a couple of months after the Super Bowl 25, not 25, but I can't even remember what it was. I think it was Super Bowl 32, I think it was. Because I know it was Baltimore and the Ravens and the Giants, so I know it was that Super Bowl. And it was inspired by the halftime show there. That's how the Into the World of Music was made. And the first version I did, Jolie kind of told me it was a little hot, a little steamy, a little, not, it was okay. It was a good story, but it was just, it had a few scenes that needed to be toned down a little bit. And then I remember doing another one after that. I can't think of the title right now. And then I did another one after that called The Big Goodbye. And then I did one about a year or two ago called Redemption. And yeah, so I've kind of had my foot in the Ranger fandom door a lot at times, and especially nowadays with with YouTube and the fact that I've made maybe about 10, maybe 12 related Rescue Ranger music videos, and it's just, and I try to keep pumping them out as much as I can, and it's just been great for me to be a part of all that. Just great. Down here is actually some of the stuff I have. These are most of my Ranger comics. I actually got the entire Rescue Ranger comic book series. I got it off of Mile High. One of the comics I actually was glad to get was this one right here, which is issue 15. I had that, I got that issue about maybe 17 years ago, 16 years ago. I don't know what happened to it, but I was able to, because I had lost it, but I was able to get another copy through Mile High Comics. And this here is Fish's Of Mice and Mayhem story, which I printed out and actually read. It's a very good story. And then I have a lot of Disney Adventure stuff with the characters in there. So it's been terrific, but that kind of shows that I'm still a fan. I've always been a fan. This right here, I actually got this game, believe it or not, at a used video game store. I don't know what the name of the store was, but I saw it and I said, I'm going to get it. It's the Rescue Ranger game. I don't have the second game, but I have that one, which was a great find for me. This here, actually, this here, I got this back in 1994 when I first came back out to Kansas, and I got this at a VA, a hospital, and I've colored in it, a couple of times. In fact, I didn't even color in that book, believe it or not, for a couple of years, because I didn't have no real crayons or anything, so I wasn't able to color in it and kind of keep myself going, myself busy. Up here is an entire wall. It's kind of Foxglove, Gadgets, and Dales, and of some of Master Monk Art's artwork, as well as over here. And now these are my figurines that I got when I was on eBay. I got these off eBay, and I got a whole little box of them down there in my shelf area of extra ones. Figurines, that is. And this puzzle I also got off of eBay as well. So I've been really, keeping up with them for a while. I've been keeping up and trying to get, the most Ranger stuff I can get, out there. So, including this one right here, including this Dale pinup. There's a story behind this. I actually got this, not this one, but I actually got one similar, the same thing back when I was a kid when the show first came out. I don't know what happened to it. And so I saw that online, and I finally decided to get it. And like I said, I've been trying my best to get what's Ranger related, and it's great. I think, like a lot of fans, I was always hoping there was going to be a Ranger movie coming out in '91, maybe '92. Because when DuckTales came out, you knew automatically, in your heart, and being a fan as well as, as long as I've been and as long as everybody else has been that I've got to meet online, you automatically think there's going to be a movie. And I was very disappointed. When DuckTales came out, when DuckTales came out, I went and saw it. My parents went and saw a movie. I don't know what movie that was, but I went and saw DuckTales instead. And while they were watching their movie, I was watching that. And like I said, you'd think right after that there's going to be a Rescue Ranger movie, and unfortunately there wasn't. And I was very disappointed because I was hoping for one, and it never happened. And it was a very unfortunate for me, and very unfortunate for everybody that wanted one. And I think the thing was we never knew if there was a Ranger movie at all. We never knew that. And when we finally found out that there was a Ranger movie, I think that's what really, not was a Ranger movie, but was going to be a Ranger movie. I think that's what really inspired us to really step up even more now and say, hey, look, there was supposed to be a movie. We're going to try now our best to get that movie out. We just don't know how, and we just don't know when, but we're going to do our best. And I think even to this day, there's fans out there like myself that's still hoping we'll walk into the theaters one day, or we'll go onto a Disney video website and it'll say, and they're coming soon or in production list, Rescue Ranger movie. That's what we're hoping for. But like I said, I was very disappointed. But I think in a way, when you look at it, we did get a Rescue Ranger movie with the pilot To the Rescue. So, so I think, which I think a lot of people like myself actually dub Rescue Rangers the movie because it's 5 parts and it's about 2 hours long, if not a little over 2 hours. But I guess as a, I can't think of the word right now, but I guess as a constellation prize, we got that movie, and it was great. We got that as a movie, and it's great. It's really great. Just like a lot of fans, I've recorded the show on many occasions. In fact, this tape right here is the earliest I've recorded the show. This was when the show was still in syndication, and I recorded it along with shows like Ninja Turtles, Alvin the Chipmunks, Super Mario Brothers, all on this tape. And it still runs very good. In fact, I think some of the episodes I have on there, one of them is Carpet Snaggers, the other is One Us Men Chip, and one is Shell Shocked. So, I do have the episodes on there. Another early video that I have of the Rescue Rangers that I recorded, I don't know where it is around here. I think it's hidden somewhere, but I recorded it when that was a tape I recorded off. I recorded the show off of when it was on Disney Channel. I don't know if I have the episode that has Mouso in it, but I don't think I do, but at least I recorded the show. That's the second earliest I did. And I went online and I was able to buy these right here. And, a couple of volumes. I don't got the entire collection, but it's a couple of volumes of the series. This is before the series came out on DVD. And over here, right here, these, as I'm pointing to them, are all my Rescue Ranger DVDs. I actually started recording those. I actually did those right before the series came out on the DVD set. So, and those are all off Toon Disney. So I was actually a step ahead at the time. I'm not trying to be mean, not trying to be cocky or anything, but that was a little step ahead of the time. And then right here is the box sets that I got. And they're both very good. The picture quality and the sound quality is just tremendous in all of them. So if you don't got them yet, go out and get them. And this up here, John Limard, I don't know if he still visits the cafe now and then, made this for me a couple years ago for my 25th birthday. So that was nice of him. And so that was very nice of him. But like I said, but it's like I said before, I've always kept my foot in the fandom door, in the Ranger door, if you will, all the time by getting the videos and any kind of thing that's Ranger, related available, either off of eBay or somewhere else. I'm always trying my best to get it. My disappointment in the Ranger movie, well, not my disappointment. I'm sorry, I'm just a little tired here. My favorite episode, I've mentioned this on many occasions, my favorite episode was Double O Chipmunk. I mean, without a doubt. There's a lot of episodes that are my personal favorites as well. I mean, when you look at the list of the top 10 shows I put on my best of Rescue Ranger DVD, those are also along my personal favorites as well. But Double O Chipmunk is one of my personal favorites, if not the personal favorite, because I've mentioned this on many occasions at the cafe. It's full of a lot of firsts. I mean, it's the first time that we actually see an intelligent side. As much as people like to bash Dale at times and say, he's lazy, he's childlike and everything, he's also very inventive, and he showed that inventive side in Double O Chipmunk when he equipped one of his own tuxedos, with all those gadgets, if you will, to try to, help out the team. That's all he was doing, was trying to help out the team, trying to help improve the team as much as he could. But I also like it because, as a lot of people have mentioned, a lot of people will agree, it's the first time we see Gadget in a red dress. But not just in a red dress do we see Gadget in, but we also see her for the first time wearing makeup. I mean, you think about all the episodes that have come before that, you've never seen her in anything but, say, a T-shirt, maybe, and that's it. This is the first time you've ever seen her in makeup, lipstick, mascara, the whole 9 yards. I mean, she even wore jewelry. She went as far as to wear a wig so so Dale wouldn't recognize her. I mean, she even wore jewelry, high heels, you name it. This is the first time she's ever done any of that. but like I said, and that is why, and that to me is one of the reasons my personal favorites, because that one of the first times, that's the very first time she's ever done that. And in my personal opinion, I think the reason it was done is because I believe the writers on the show, more specifically Tad Stones, possibly realized that they needed to show Gadget being feminine. You just can't show her being shy and flirtatious, with Chip or Dale, when Chip and Dale kind of shows interest in her and starts to flirt with her. You just can't have that. You got to show that she is female and she is feminine by having to do something like this. And I think, to me, they accomplished that, with this episode. And like I said, it was full of a lot of firsts. It was the first time we saw the intelligent side of Dale. It's the first time we've seen Gadget go this far, and it was, like I said, it was an overall great episode, and and I think it had a great follow-up. As much as some people may disagree with that, it had a great follow-up with Mind Your T's and Q's. Because that was the second time we saw Gadget wearing a red dress and mascara and makeup. Not as heavy as the first time, but just as good. And like I said, it was just as good fun. And just like with Double O Chipmunk, they faced a rodential villain instead of a rodential and human villain. So it was, like I said, it was overall, Double O Chipmunk was overall a great episode, and that's why I've always found it as my personal favorite, because of what it was and because of what it showcased. My opinion when it comes to some of the one-shot characters on the show, like say Foxglove and Tammy, and even Sparky, is the fact that I think they should have brought them back more than once. You take a look at characters like, say, Kanina LaFleur and the Pirates. They brought them back twice. I think with the initial idea that, Kanina and the Pirates could be like allies, could be the kind of characters that, could be brought back because they had such potential, because they had such charisma. But the same could be said for Tammy and Foxglove. They had charisma, they had potential, but I think there's also another reason. They weren't brought back like Kanina and the Pirates. You see, like with Kanina and the Pirates, there was never an attraction, there was never any romantic interest, with the characters. And with someone like, say, Tammy herself, she had a lot of interest, a lot of romantic interest in Chip. And the same with Foxglove, she had a lot of romantic interest in Dale. And the same can go with Sparky, he had a sort of a romantic, if not an attraction towards Gadget. So there was always, and even the Queenie Bee, the same thing with her. And I think that's the reason they were never brought back, because of that romantic interest, that romantic attraction. And maybe the writers felt as though it might mess up the show a little bit, and that the fact that the young kids, because there were younger kids than us watching the show, wouldn't really understand what was going on, or really wouldn't like the idea of the fact that that Chip or Dale wasn't achieving the goal, which was to try to win the hand and the heart of Gadget and become her boyfriend. I think that's why the writers didn't want to bring those characters back, unlike Kanina and the Pirates, because like I said, with Kanina and the Pirates, there was no romantic attraction. It was more like kind of like an ally, friendship kind of deal, that you're always there for each other and you're always helping each other out. So that was so that to me is the reason I don't think the characters like Tammy, Foxglove, and Sparky were ever brought back, because of that romantic interest that they had with the other actors. But hey, that's just my opinion, but I truly believe that. What do I think about the Rangers overall? I think the Rescue Rangers have proven to be one of the best shows there ever was. I mean, even to this day, fans still talk about it. I mean, there's a whole new generation of fans that are discovering the Rescue Rangers now because of networks like, say, Toon Disney. You got a new generation, like I said, discovering it because of channels like Toon Disney and the Disney Channel, and because of the DVD box set. And you got to realize that this new generation was born around the time the series came out, so they're discovering it for the first time. And that's why we're getting a lot of new members and not younger members to the cafe, because of this, because they're discovering the series for the first time. But for me, Rescue Rangers is always going to be a show that is going to be known as one of the best, if not the best shows there was. And I don't think there's anything that can replace that. Anything that can replace it, or anything that could say otherwise. I mean, you can talk to a lot of fans. You can go to a Comic Con, you can go to a Fur Con, you can go to Athrocon or BotCon, so anything like that. And if you talk about Rescue Rangers, if someone mentions Chippendale Rescue Rangers, bet your money that you have at the time, there's going to be a whole conversation started with groups of people, no doubt. And that's why I think, to me, Rescue Rangers is always going to be one of the best shows there was and ever will be. And I would not be surprised if somewhere down the line Disney decides, hey, the show worked, let's do it again. And I've got a feeling they're going to do it again. And I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised, especially with the fandom that you have now, and especially with the creative fandom that we have. I would not be surprised if the Rangers are brought back in the future. I would not be surprised. One of the things that would really stick out in my mind when I was as a kid growing up watching the Rescue Rangers was I wasn't the only one that watched them. As a matter of fact, my sister Shannon used to watch them as well, and one of the things she did, because she was such a good artist at times, and I don't know if she still is, I'm guessing she is, but one of the things she would do during her spare time is she would draw perfect renditions of Gadget, but not just Gadget herself. She would draw different versions of Gadget. She would draw Gadget with black hair. She would draw Gadget with red hair, brown hair, black hair. I think I said black hair, blonde hair. She would do that, and she would put Gadget not just in her overalls, but she would put Gadget in dresses and pants and all these things. I mean, it was just, she just did such a phenomenal job, and that's one of the reasons I've always liked the Rescue Rangers. And my sister is because not only did my sister like them, but she was probably the closest I had at the time of having a personal Ranger artist in my family. And it was fun. It was real fun to see that, and it's a shame I don't know what she did with the pictures, but I would be glad to. But if I could find them, I would definitely be glad to scan them and show them to people. But that being 10 years ago, I don't know what 10, 15 years ago, I don't know what she did with them. I swear to God.